Howdy everybody, welcome to the back nine of the 2023 Discraft Ledgestone Open, presented by Morel and brought to you by the boys at Ace Run Pro. I am Sai Ananda and I am with Holly Finley.
And we are here at the Northwoods Black Course, and this is your FPO chase card. After the front half of the course, you can check out the top 10 leaderboards. A couple of names we haven't seen in a while. Ellen Widboom, for example.
Great player in the woods, great technical game, super finesse player.
Stephanie Vincent coming back on tour.
We are moving on to hole 10. We've got a par 3 at 325 feet. Nothing too crazy here, but you kind of got to pick a side. There is a hyzer line that you can throw that I like quite a lot because you can skip right into the green, or you can take the line that the drone is taking now and address the basket straight on right down the fairway. And then we've got these little rocks that kind of come into play with those approaches, even though it's a pretty wide open hole.
Well, this
Hailey
is a
King.
play
Whoa.
I have not seen out of any female before.
And not quite the execution she was looking for, but we've got a wide open hole, so I'm confident she might be able to take that one.
Exactly. Holyn taking the preferred route for myself, that low little skip hyzer. She's up there looking at a birdie.
Nice and wide. Hopefully she can get some skip here.
Yeah, we need to move left quick. She
wide open there.
Caught up in the canopy. It's probably not going to be a look for two on that elevated basket.
No, I'd put her a little bit more than 100 potentially. Oh, this is different.
Look at that sexy flexi.
Well, I never.
In the bullseye? Yeah, we're going to need a run back for that one.
Yeah, we're going to run this one back here.
Look at the flex on this.
Made a flex line where you making me look silly, Ohn. I told you there was two lines. Beautiful shot.
Hailey King looking to scramble for par. She's going to give herself a 25-foot par putt.
Not loving that approach. She's snuggled down there with Holyn, though, so we'll see what they can do. Oh, wow.
I just had to say it wasn't a look for two, and she made it a look, didn't she?
Yeah, had to prove you wrong there. That was a nice, well-tempoed run. Kept it right next to the basket.
I've noticed that about her bids. Look at this birdie putt from Holyn Handley.
That was great spin. We'll see how Hailey attacks a similar putt.
That's got to feel good. I love those kinds of tricky putts.
Had to work for it a little bit. It wasn't a gimme.
King for par. And that just offline, right out of the hand. Sometimes I feel like when, her upshot was still in the circle, and I feel like your mindset, when she saw that land, it was not a positive mindset.
Right, she was a little bit harder than maybe,
Yes.
was warranted.
I feel like if maybe she would have been like, it's a good upshot, I made it in the circle. It just gives you a bit more confidence when you get up to the putt versus being like, oh man, that was so far away. I wish I could have gotten it closer.
Yeah, for me, those little things in your dialogue are definitely important, and in my opinion, can add up to strokes. Got a couple of birdies, one par, and Hailey carding a single bogey there.
Jeff Jacqua spotting. Let's check out hole 11, a cute little shorty, par 3, slightly downhill. If you're not good at turnovers or you don't have a forehand, you can simply throw straight here and give yourself a circle putt. But if you have a little shot shaping in your arsenal, it wouldn't hurt to pull it out here. A bit of an anhyzer angle will sneak you right up there on the pin. Otherwise, forehands might have an advantage here, but that slope can move quickly if you get any sort of downhill flare skip. Holyn Handley up first.
Very, very tight forehand, in my opinion.
Yeah, she was a little too inside on that one.
Unlucky ricochet there. Looks like we've got Ohn with what appears to be a mid-range.
Nice rock 3.
Airing it out a little bit wide. That's going to be tricky.
Chantel up third, and she pulls it on the inside as well.
Easy to do. You want an anhyzer, so sometimes your body can take that to an extreme. This looks pretty smooth if it can move over a little.
And that's perfect.
Yeah,
You know, a straight
like you
shot
said.
and you're in the circle.
All right, let's see how these ladies are going to get out of the trees here.
Oh no!
Oh, that's
Conrad.
so unfortunate. Poor guy. That's too bad.
We got to get you some body armor, my friend. And not the drink.
Any more of these
Talking like the
days?
snowboard pads and whatnot.
People. Just remember that. Oh my god.
She is a threat. All right, not to be reckoned with. Don't look at her.
I have
settings.
never...
Can confirm that he is all right.
He's sitting right behind me. Conrad's fine.
Face is
But-
just as beautiful as ever. No worries, guys.
Still a shocker.
Got a lot of trickiness going on here for a 260-foot hole. This is really throwing this card for a whirl here.
Chantel for par.
After all that,
I also find that to be very interesting, that this is the shortest hole on the course, but it still provides quite a challenge to people.
and I think that is the epitome of Northwood. Even though it's my first time playing, that seems to be really what it gives off.
Yeah, Sai's first time here at the Northwoods Black.
One of my favorite courses I've experienced on tour so far, for sure.
Hailey King for birdie.
That's tricky. That's tricky. I wonder if that last putt maybe kind of lingered on her a little too much.
Yeah, because she pulled that one right side, so this one had a little bit of a hyzer angle. Not quite the same follow-through commitment.
And sometimes when that pendulum starts, swinging, it's hard to steady. We'll see if she can make a correction in this back nine and finish strong.
Hole 11 not awarding any birdies to this card.
That's gotta feel tough. That's gotta feel tough for the shortest hole on the course.
Handing out 2 bogeys and 2 pars.
Fickle.
Holyn Handley sitting at even, and Ohn Scoggins 1 over par for the round.
We are moving on to hole 12. We've got a par 5 at 725 feet. And this hole is very, very interesting. It almost kind of feels like 2 holes in one. We've got a shot over a little bit of a gully to a nice open area. And then that's where the hole really gets complicated as we move to this long corridor that eventually leads you to the basket. And that corridor can get you into all kinds of trouble, either when you're in it or as you're approaching it from that wide open stance in the landing zone.
Distance is not important off the tee. It's really about positioning. You want to land in that flat area so you can just throw straight up to the gap. Pinched off too far right or left just makes it that much more difficult. And if you are pinched off, a lot of times you can't get up and over the hill. You're just looking at a second positioning shot.
Oh,
Hailey King is
looks like we're in a little bit of a stormy patch here.
right, just a little rusty at the moment.
We'll see if she can kind of pull it together. It takes some fortitude to get past those. Owen definitely wants that left. I want it left. That's not going to be bad. You want to have some good footing here because it's a pretty uphill shot that you want to hit pretty well.
You can be aggressive and try to push to where that catch cam is on the little dirt path, but really just landing in the flat zone is all you need to do, and you can still easily birdie. And Hailey King actually
She
opted
opted
to
to
re-tee, so that would be her third shot, and she makes it over the creek, but still kind of in an awkward position.
In my opinion, there aren't a lot of situations that can really benefit from a re-tee. I feel like you always, as a player, gotta believe in your ability to kind of scramble from that.
You can see Chantel again is just looking for positioning, which is all you need to birdie and par this hole. As soon as you try to get greedy on hole 12, you're going to get in trouble. You don't need to throw high, you don't need to throw hard. You know, you can just throw 200 feet at a time and get up there and take a par while you watch everyone else struggle down the corridor. And this is where things can get tricky up here. If you go left at all, it is a cliff, and it's unrecoverable. It's not out of bounds either. It's just a cliff, and you have to play from down in it, and it's not pretty. Hailey with a nice gentle shot, but still not in the fairway. She has gone over to the left side, and that could be tough. And you can see, as I mentioned, positioning is key here. So Ohn, not being greedy, she pitches out to get a better positioning. As does Chantel. And Holyn, as we've seen in previous holes, keeps her shot nice, low, and controlled. The last thing you want to do is have too much height on the disc and then ricochet off over that cliff somewhere.
Hey, thank you for showing me the round.
Chantel's up there. She's got about a 38-footer. Hailey King decides to jump putt herself into the circle. Not the first bit of frustration I've seen out of Chantel. Holyn Handley saves a par. A par feels great here on hole 12. I think a birdie feels like an eagle and a par feels like a birdie.
I think that's how Ohn's feeling on that one. Definitely going through some toughness, but we're seeing her moving through it, and hopefully we can get some determination out of her on these next couple holes. Oof. Another double we're seeing.
And Hailey King will take an unfortunate triple bogey here on hole 12.
Nope, that base says it all. Holyn is still managing even impressively through all of this chaos, still trying kind of finding some clean games. Awesome to see.
Hole 13, a par 4, 502 feet. Off of the tee, you have a couple of options. You can try to be aggressive and get around the corner, but that's not necessary even to birdie. All you need to do is throw a straight shot and land anywhere where you can throw a 200-foot upshot right past this out-of-bounds pond to the bottom of this little mound and skid up there to the wood chips and get yourself a birdie 3. Holyn Handley up first.
Somewhat of a deceptive tee shot, kind of. Definitely coax you into going for more than necessary.
Holyn gets caught up on that evergreen in the middle of the fairway, and from there she could still birdie, but it's a very aggressive shot. I imagine from that position she'll try to play for par.
Ohn coming out with a nice clean shot. That appeared to be a pretty good position.
It gets a little hairy in that right corner, but luckily Chantel hyzers out of it.
That was super lucky, super lucky. She was definitely, if you ended up on that right position, that's not where you want to be pitched here.
Under the evergreen, this looks primo from Hailey King. And almost too far.
Very direct. I like to see that energy coming back.
And Holyn decides she's not going to go for any crazy gap-hitting forehand skip shots. She just pitches it up, and she'll play for par. Ohn is in a position to attack for birdie. Just get it to the wood chips and you're good to go.
Get it past the wood chips and it might be a little tricky, as we see there.
It's fast back there.
It really is.
As soon as you get past the basket, it just drops off and keeps going.
Putting some muscle on a sidearm from Chantel.
She's over the pond and she's got a birdie look.
Hailey with a longer birdie look as well.
I really like to land at the base of that mound and sort of skid up to the basket.
That seems to be the play when I see people park it. You land short of it. Because if you land right at the pin, that's what can happen.
Still got work to do yet.
But that's tricky too because you've got that water short. You've got to really trust your shot on that.
And the water is very low. All the creeks and ponds are just looking very sad this year. Chantel misses her putt, unfortunately. Let's see if Ohn can get a birdie putt in. That looked good.
Love to see those putts from her. Such an excellent short-range player.
And that'll bring Ohn to even for the round. And that was a little too high for Holyn. You know, when you hit that close to where the chains connect to the top, it just doesn't catch very well.
There's not a lot of give there.
Yeah, not unless you hit the top and then it elevators down. Hailey King missing her putt as well.
A little bit of a roll, but only just outside of the target. A little bit of a tap in to clean up here. Hailey putting it in for par. Chantel with a par as well after that long birdie run. Evening out a little bit potentially. We've got one bogey for Holyn, but nothing crazy. Moving on to hole 14, we've got a par 5 at 731 feet. This one is another position shot where you don't really want to go too long and you don't really want to go too short. You've got a second shot that's going to set you up to get through this little corridor that eventually funnels you down to this tricky guarded green within the palm of this cluster of trees here. Lots of distance and technicality, and as always, accuracy. Ohn putting out a nice hyzer, but coming up a little bit short on that corner. That's going to be tricky to attack the hole from. Chantel a little bit wider. We'll see if this has the distance to push. And I mean, you know, at the camera guy's feet can't be a bad place. I like the air on this one.
She doesn't even watch it land.
No, she's choosing to deal with this frustration, just kind of moving through it, maybe gritting her teeth a little.
Holyn pulls that one a bit wide,
Yeah,
but
a
the
little
angle
high.
saves her.
Oh,
And
I
that
wonder.
ends up in a great position.
I wonder if that was maybe like a more understable disc because it had a lot of glide for how severe. Oh, you know, sometimes with her forehand, that just happens. It's just kind of the error that you know one has when you know you've got your form. Unfortunate to see, but always like to see the smiles as she, you know, shakes it off and moves on to the next.
Hailey King in the best position to attack this hole. Just get your second shot down there as far as possible.
That got pretty slick. All the way down the fairway. She'll have a good opportunity there. This is the hardest shot in my opinion. Is the second shot that's like setting you up to approach the basket.
This is Ohn's third shot, having to get quite creative here on hole 14. And now she's back in the woods on the left side.
Looks like she went from intermediate rough to the intermediate rough on the other side there.
Kind of the theme of Northwoods. A lot of times it doesn't pay to be greedy. You can just pitch out to a better position and it works out better than just trying to get 30 more feet from the rough, you know?
I think I almost wanted to say it on the hole before. I think you're absolutely right. It really doesn't pay to be greedy. but it coaxes you too when it
Just want to get a little further.
and it gives you so many strokes, so you definitely want to attack back.
Ohn struggling here, opts for a roller, and she's back in the woods again. But this
Giving it her
time,
best effort, but it's
she's close to the
cornered.
basket. At least she can get a putt in from there.
That's true. She's put herself within her good range. Chantel was a forehand here. It looks like it might be coming out early, but that should be relatively open on the hyzer side. Could be a little chance to run that putt. Ooh, that footing was a little different there. But it looks like she came up just short of the circle.
Hailey
boy.
King is having a day here at the Northwoods.
It's a tough course to have that kind of day on.
Sometimes you can tell when Hailey's in it and when she's not. And at this particular moment, she's not in it.
Well,
you can
we'll
tell she just walks up and hucks the disc.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the very next hole, you can see she might just be right back in it again.
Yep. Sometimes just kind of needs distance from the emotions, potentially.
Hole 14 proving to be quite difficult for the card here.
A little bit of a run from Chantel, but it didn't ever really get above the rim there. Ohn, giving it as fierce of a go as she really can. But nothing is coming easy for these players today. That was
That's
even
gotta
that,
feel good.
That was such an extremely difficult, nose up and hyzer putt.
And even with all the trouble she found along the way, Hailey King was able to save par. Chantel will take a bogey, and Holyn Handley will take a par as well. And Ohn with an unfortunate triple here on the 14th.
I mean, these are crazy scores, Holly. These are crazy.
Yeah, there's not a lot of courses that we play where you're getting 3 over par, where you're taking 8s,
Yeah.
Taking the risk.
Welcome back. Hole 15, par 4, 525 feet, and this hole can be intimidating for a lot of folks. Out of bounds all along the left side. A lot of times you'll see the players pull their shots over to the right just because they're so scared of the left. But if you're not scared, you can commit and get way down there. I actually saw my commentary partner have the best shot I've ever seen on this hole today, an air shot. That'll give you a short upshot and hopefully a birdie look.
Probably the easiest par I had all day.
Hailey King up first. She pulls it a bit to the right, but it looks like it's working back left, and that is prime position.
Excellent. She chose a great disc that she was able to maneuver to the right, but could rely on that hyzer back. This hole is super duper tricky because it is right to left with all of that OB on the left side. The course just beckons you towards danger. Holyn a little short, but yep, like she said, that's dead center.
Yep, pulls it a little to the right, but no harm on that shot.
No funny business.
Chantel doing the same thing, and that's
But the funny business, that's
unfortunate out of bounds tree kick for Chantel.
late in the round. That's gonna be tricky.
Ohn a bit high. Luckily sneaks under the canopy. See if she can sit in the fairway, and she does.
All right. That'll be a manageable position for Ohn. Let's see what Chantel can do from this.
Chantel's third shot.
come
What
on
a
now.
good-looking sidearm.
Be a good disc here. Oh.
Is it in bounds?
Quite. I'm not seeing a graphic.
Ohn Scoggins' second shot.
Oh, I had a feeling that she had a nice, perfect Ohn shot from there. Yeah,
Hits the pole? Wow, that's really good, Ohn.
textbook Ohn. It was a classic flex shot from her. It was.
And Ohn really didn't have a choice after the triple on the hole before.
Yep,
You know, she's not the type of person that's
her
going
hand
to
was forced.
let that get her down. She's going to come back harder on the next hole. And that could be out of bounds, Holyn Handley, that tricky little spot.
Wow, Chantel's didn't go out of bounds, but that one did.
Yeah, they've got that little bit that just curves back into the fairway.
Yep, just pokes out just a little bit, right in the middle of the fairway. Oh,
And that's going to hyze her out. That's going to hyze her out.
Man, if I know Holyn, she was not happy about that approach.
Circle's edge putt.
Oh, good air on it.
She looked really annoyed with that.
I think the weight of the round, you know, and just the accumulation of all of this tough golf that we've been playing. Yep, you can see it
You
on
could see the
Holyn.
anger come out there. It was the out of bounds upshot that probably really set her off, you know?
Yep.
It's like you think you've got a good upshot. You're not even thinking about that little out of bounds bit over there. You hit the tree. You're still not thinking about it. You drop down and you're like, I'm in the fairway. Yes. Wait, I'm out of bounds.
And
you
she's
know?
not even being greedy too. So
Right.
I mean, she's even playing it well and still taking some licks.
After a good tee shot, unfortunately, Holyn will take a double here. And Chantel will walk away with a bogey.
A single bogey's not too bad after that errand of a tee shot.
And Ohn with her very pleasing birdie here on the 15th. No putt required. And I must have missed what Hailey King did.
Oh yeah, we didn't quite see that.
Sometimes
there.
she plays so quick that you miss her.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as her, you know, looking at her attitude moving on. Moving forward to hole 16. This is a beautiful shot as we're throwing. Lots of angle as we're moving down. A lot of challenge. There's definitely a lot of ceiling. Even though you want to throw down, the ceiling can definitely affect your tee shot. And then we've got this tight technical green. Players are going to want to get a nice, smooth, straight shot that's just going to kiss up to the basket. This is looking a little low right out of the bat, but it could have the distance there. Looks like it just came shy. Could definitely still putting. I like this one if it comes back to the left.
Me too.
Surprisingly a little bit short, but that's absolutely a putt on this hole.
She could be on the side hill or trickle down to the bottom. Either way, it's probably an Ohn range.
That came out nice and flat.
Yeah,
This is
Chantel has a
great.
very well-rounded game.
And has the distance. Yeah, right? Excellent power on both the forehand and the backhand. Fairly severe angle on that. Oh, barely missing that branch. That's got to be a pretty understandable mid-range.
Yeah, it's okay.
Notice that Holyn's played the majority of the course with mids. For someone with her power.
Oh,
Hailey King, what a birdie!
all right. We're on a little bit of an upward
Didn't we just
strike
say that's
here.
what Hailey does?
Yep.
You know? It's like she looks like she's not in it 1 minute, and the next thing she's slamming 60-foot birdie putts.
Just has to pull into her shell a little bit, find the energy, find the power for it. This is a tricky shot for Holyn. There's a little bit of a drop off. Yeah, as you can see,
50 foot
a
for
roll
birdie.
possibility. Oh, just maybe a hair shy. It felt like that could have fallen right in. Chantel was making a birdie. Needed after the last couple of holes for sure.
Chantel currently sitting at 8 over par for the round. And Ohn missing that birdie putt here on the 16th. She'll take a par, putting her at 2 over for the round.
Holyn taking the par, making her comebacker there. Couple of pars, couple of birdies there.
Hole 17, a 320-foot par 3. You've got out of bounds that wraps starting on the left side all the way around the basket, continuing over to the left. This is a very tricky hole. You have to be very decisive on what gap you're going to take to the basket. You can't walk up and be indecisive, because I feel like that's when you're not going to hit the gap. If you can just get down there anywhere near the bridge, you can have yourself a birdie putt.
Conceptually, a very simple throw. You know, straight and have it turn over a little bit. But when you put all these trees in the way, it makes that shot so much more intense.
Hailey King kicks early but lands safe on the left side, and Chantel trying to do a bit of a turnover but just pulls it too wide left.
That was a rough early release. Let's see, scramble from there. Ohn, I think this is another classic Ohn flex shot. Oh, it looks like she'll be messing around a little bit with that bridge, but she's just at circle's edge. Holyn with a forehand, interesting on the left line. Could potentially be a birdie look. Definitely not out of the question, but a little further out.
This is going to be a very tricky scramble for par.
And crucial on hole 17.
Still got a bit of a distance left. She could throw it in from there.
I would say that was pretty good. I don't know if she could ask for a whole lot more from that position. Hailey going out of bounds there is what it appeared, unless there's just a little toenail of that disc hanging on.
Toenail of the disc.
Chantel with a little bit of a bid.
It did look like she kicked out of bounds. She did, unfortunately.
That's too bad.
Yeah, because the first one, she got lucky, and the second one, it didn't give it to her. This is Holyn for birdie.
Good tempo.
I love the way it sounds when you just slam into that tower.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say the opposite. It's so abrasive.
I like it. Ohn.
Not dealing with the bridge too much, making that putt.
Birdie for Ohn here on the 17th.
A bogey on hole 17 is definitely not the cherry you want on the round, but these players are, just moving through the adversities, and the next course that we play, Sunset Hills, I think, we can birdie every one of those holes, so I'm curious to see how these players turn it around.
Everyone currently sitting over par for the round as we head into the final hole.
Hole 18, we've got a par 4 at 490 feet, and this is a tricky one. This is another tee shot that can maybe coax you to go for a little bit more than necessary, but really, you want position for the mouth, which is right there. Unless you kind of find another way, this is going to be your ideal pathway. And this basket pushes just a little bit further than I anticipated with my approach shot, making it pretty difficult from start to finish. And we got a pretty little snake.
Look at this Northwoods friend. I've heard people all week telling me about the black snake they've seen on hole 18, and this is the first time I've seen it. Isn't he majestic?
I mean, yeah, there's no throwing on that tee pad.
Go on, player. You can go. It's your turn.
Wait for nature on this one, and I would like to see him try.
Don't mind me.
This is the style of the day. Right there.
Oh my gosh, was that Own's hand?
Oh,
yes.
what are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
Maybe she just want to see how it felt.
I just wonder, maybe she has insight, maybe she knows what kind of snake it is, and it potentially is not dangerous.
It's not.
And then now we'll see her step up to the last tee.
Little good luck snake touch. on the tee of 18. And Ohn's on the right side. From there, it can be tricky. I was actually there earlier, so I'm really anxious to see what she does.
Yeah, you want it to be more left, but there are some lines you can find on the right side there.
They have cleaned up that right corner here on hole
Okay.
18. In previous years, it's pretty much unusable, but now they've cleared out the underbrush and trimmed some bushes.
Hailey sauced that one.
Actually still
Not
usable.
bad, yeah. Good result after an errant toss.
It sure was.
Of course, giving her, maybe a little bit of spare change there.
Holyn
It's clean
picking up a
release.
stick so she can touch the snake. Did you see that in the background?
Gosh, no, I didn't see that. I was focused on Chantel's face. Oh my gosh.
It's just a spectator, guys. He's got the VIP pass. And Chantel is in a great position from here. Just get up through that gap.
It looked like that tree was maybe...
You could still save par from there.
Yeah. And at least she's in the mouth. At least she's in the mouth there. Didn't get pushed to the left. Hailey's got some great glide. Wow, yeah, that pushed really well forward. Can't quite see the tufties there, but it's a decent look.
Oh, Ohn's a bit more left than I was earlier. Did she mean to do that?
I honestly am not certain.
The world may never know, but it worked out great.
Because like we said, sometimes, grounding it can be the error when she puts a little too much on it, but it almost seemed like it could have been intentional.
And this is Holyn's third shot. She needs to get up there to save a par.
She's definitely wanted more than that. We'll see what she can give here. This is going to be a tough finish, but a tough round for these ladies.
A little low, but the speed took it there.
Yeah, she really had some great spin on that with the skip at the end.
Ohn's rock 3 for her final approach of the day.
She didn't love it, not great, but as you could see, it wasn't that far away from the bullseye tuff, so not too far.
Yep.
Hailey King will have a drop-in par here on the final hole.
Relieved to kind of put this round behind her and move forward.
And this is Holyn's par save. From about 50 feet.
We know she can make those, but that's still a very difficult putt to ask for after such a grueling round mentally and physically. It was hot out there today.
4 to 5 hour rounds here on Northwoods Black.
A little bit of a pole touch there, but didn't quite connect with the chains. The hole will be over for Chantel.
Strong par save out of Ohn Scoggins,
Yes, very much so.
leaving her at 1 over par for the round.
And still with a smile on her face is nice to see.
Always.
Holyn cleaning up her bogey there. Chantel with a bogey finish as well. Just kind of exemplary of this entire round. Hailey pulling away with a par. I think all these ladies are gonna go and sit and think about what they've done here. Or maybe not so, sometimes those rounds are
Maybe
just...
not think about it at all.
Yep, sometimes they're tough and you just gotta get through them and move forward to the next round. That's why we've got 18 holes and that's why we got multiple rounds in a tournament. Checking out this leaderboard. Missy Gannon keeping it pretty clean. We've got a lot of tight scores. 30 positions down is only within, maybe 7 or 8 strokes potentially.
And as I told you guys, tomorrow we head over to the golf course at Sunset Hills. We appreciate you guys tuning in to this day 1 coverage of the 2023 Ledgestone. I've got some Tour Series discs for sale. You can pick up a Glow It on the Innova store.
I do have some Tour Series discs as well as some awesome fundraising discs. You can go to westsidediscs.com or dynamicdiscs.com. I appreciate all of the support. It's so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. It's been wonderful watching and look forward to seeing you on the next round.